Yo, what's good? Welcome to the Rising Rush podcast. I'm your boy Glow and Enjoy. And shout out to the PO who said just whoop when we start recording.
All right, welcome to the Rising Rush podcast where we talk everything Dragon Ball Legend related, such as news, meta, hot takes, you name it. I am your host, A-Town, alongside our co-hosts, Opsto, Desla, and Glow. And we're going to kick things off with the weekly reset as of September the 4th of 2024. First things first, we've got the Chrono Crystal sales for the month that has refreshed, so go ahead and pick those up if you got the money for it. We've also got the Step Up reset as well for the Chrono Crystals for about $7.99. It kind of tapers off from there, which is a really good deal. Take advantage of that. The Limit Break banner is back through September the 8th, so you know what that means. There's either going to be an Ultra or some type of big unit coming out. If you got any tags or teams you want to invest in, this is a fantastic investment. So if you got the Chrono Crystals to spend, definitely do that. We've got some returning Ultra Rising banners, there being the Emperor Reborn and the Radiant Rose for the UGF and the Rose. He's not summonable, but they're here till the 14th of September. So if you may in future, go ahead and go on for that. We've got the Fierce Fight Boujack, which is a free-to-play Boujack that is live through the 25th of September. We've got some brand new equipment being in co-op. We've also got the Purple Turles Unique Equip that is also live. And we've got the Path to Friendship. That event is now live through September the 11th. So if you want to up your friendship levels with your units, definitely take advantage of that once per day. And that's about it for this quiet week. So let's go ahead and start off with some of the equipments that have released in game. So I know they've been really investing in a lot of like powerful opponent equips. We've got the one that's very similar that gives HP, and then we've got this one that's giving pure blast and pure strike. When you have a full movies team, you should be set to go. We'll start off with you, Glow, since you're more of like the movies main. What do you think about this overall equipment? Is it worth farming for or what?
The new co-op one, right? I think it's solid. I think you should definitely farm at least three of it. I don't know why, but they've been doing with movies, like they've been kind of redoing equips. Like the that came out with Goku and co-op.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing as the equip that came out with PyCon. It's the exact same stats: 10% HP, 50% both defenses, and then 12% to pures. The thing with the Bojack one is that instead of 12%, it is essentially the first slot, as we said, is I don't know if you said it, but the first slot is 10% special move,
Mm-hmm.
25%, and then the other two slots are 25% to other offenses and 10% to pures for both. Well, 25% base to both defenses and then 10% to both offenses pure if all three battle members are movies. The thing about it is that it's 10%. You compare that to other equips we have, like the Pycon one, Humph, it's 12%. The Gaku one is 12% too. If we would go to the OG one when we got when Beast Gohan first dropped, the what people call the Piccolo plat, that's 12%. This one essentially sacrifices 2% pure or 10% base more defense. And I don't think it's the worst, but it's one of those equips where it's definitely dependent. It's definitely gonna be good because you have to realize a lot of movie units will have other tags like God Key,
Mm-hmm.
Fusion, Saiyan, Sunfam. So they'll have access to some really good equips. I think the best thing about the equip is that it's going to be meant for units that don't naturally have good equips. That's what it's meant for. So if movies ends up going to a realm and a version that isn't really like sane or hybrid based, then yeah, that's a great equip.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And I've noticed like with a lot of the other movies equips as well, like they're heavily restricted where you have to either have um, like a Goku or Vegito or like a Gaki member or etc. It looks like this is a little bit more relaxed, and it stays when you have, as long as you have three sagas of the movies units. So just based off of what kind of teams you can come up with to kind of utilize these equip, I do like that they're moving away from just being heavily restrictive, but this could just be a one-off of what we see here. And then we also got,
Yeah.
some more units that could possibly come out for this campaign. So we'll see exactly who was able to utilize it. But what about you, Deza? What do you think about this overall equip? Do you think this is worth farming, or Is there a lot of competition in that equipment realm for movies?
I mean, I'm not really in tune with what's quote unquote optimal or not for movies because obviously I don't main the tag. But in terms of what I can glean from what I've seen about the quip, then I mean, solid. It's given both offenses pure and then other 25 for base defenses. And I mean, my only nitpick is I probably prefer just 10% health in slot one over just special move damage. But other than that, it's solid. If you want to farm it up, then go right ahead. But I mean, it just depends on, like what Glow said and what direction they actually go with the tag going forward. Because obviously, I mean, there's a lot of movies that fit, or a lot of characters that fit under movies.
Yeah,
So it's kind of just a matter of where you're kind of rolling the dice and gambling, hoping it's a little more general to where it'll work better that way instead of more varied tag wise to make it a little more spotty to recommend opting for that equip over other options. So it just depends on what they go with in the future. But yeah.
for sure. And it could just also make it telling if are we done seeing like powerful opponent units related to Saga from the movies, and they're going to start dropping more heroes going forward within the second half of the campaign. I mean, it's if they do, this quip would be perfect to kind of slot those in for making those teams where you have a mixture of powerful opponent and more of the heroes like Sun Family, hybrids or whatever the case may be. So I can definitely see it go both ways. What about you, Opsto? Do you like this equipment? Do you think this is worth farming, or is movies fine for what they already have available to them?
I'm in the same boat as Tesla, where I'm not in tune with the equipment meta for movies, but yeah, it seems good. You could use it.
Definitely. So definitely, it's definitely good to see that movies is getting these type of equipments. I mean, I feel like they have so much already since they hold so many different tags. So you can really go either way with either farming this or not. But let's move on to the Turles equipment. Now, this came out of nowhere. Well, first off, the data download happened extremely late within the evening. Like, I woke up expecting to be a really small update, and then I see this Turles equip coming out of nowhere. Checking on Twitter and such, I've seen a lot of content creators like rave about what this equip is doing and how it helps the Turles, but this unit may just be so old that it doesn't even matter anymore. What do you think, Opsto? Do you think this equipment is going to bring Turles back into the meta usage, or is it just useless to even like run this equip at all?
Oh, this equip is definitely the new golden standard for 1% plats, and should be at the very least this powerful for every other 1% plat going forward. But again, what hurts him the most is that he's a 6-year-old unit. He's not going to have a lot of the utility newer units are going to have a basic cover change.
That's true.
So if you just want to use him for the damage and combo potential, sure, go ahead. He makes a 1% option if you don't have a Zenkai LF Kid Buu, because they basically fulfill the same roles.
That is true as well. And then for Turles Z ability, what does he buff? Is he buff just purple or movies?
Purple.
Wow. So he's
Purple.
is he considered a leader slot merchant then at this point? Like if you ever want to run?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
If you want to run him, yeah, but he's always been bench.
That's true as well. So then, just breaking down the equip, have you checked out this brand new equipment yet, or not yet?
I obviously haven't farmed it up or anything like that to actually use myself personally, but in terms of showcases at PP, seems pretty solid. And I mean, it's like Opsta mentioned, it's the new golden standard for these 1% plats that clearly they took a break from dropping them to kind of reevaluate what needs to be included and what doesn't. And I mean, hopefully they've gotten their shit straight so that we can continue to have this be like the bottom line they base future equipments off of and keep improving from there. But my issue more so is the fact that it feels like we're drowning in purples lately. Mm-hmm. That's my problem. To where the fact of the matter is that we should not be in a place to where we only really have one good yellow right now if you want to be generous too. I'm being generous by including OG in that discussion.
Oh my gosh.
My concern is that if we don't get a new yellow soon, what's stopping people from continuing to just run these double purple cops? Nothing at all. Yeah. Because Baby is situational against Saiyans. If he's not against Saiyans, he's not doing much. I can say that from experience. But I don't know. It's a matter of where, for me, yeah. I'm praying that the unit they cap out this campaign with is some uber dominant yellow who is anti-meta. I'm
13.
praying they do that.
13.
And no, wouldn't work out.
The other
Cooler,
problem with Gogeta is it's really his teams. It's like his teams either don't need him or his teams are trash.
Yeah.
It's one of the two. Like the
he's in the
best
same boat as
yellow
Baby
frust-
too, though, where he's situational.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he's less situational than Baby, but Baby also still has like better teams.
GT is infinitely better than anything that he slots on. Yeah, so makes sense.
Yeah,
But,
GT, PO, Regen.
Yep. Nope. I don't know. I think going forward though, that I'm telling you, whether it's an Ultra and LF, I might lean towards LF at this point because they did drop a limit break banner this soon. I would have assumed they would have held off on that until next week, but since they're doing it now, we might get the new unit next week. I have no idea. I'll have to see what they do. I'm praying to God it's some uber juice cooler who can just like spank all of these like top 5 and up units that are just making things just dreadful.
I mean, we can definitely
of,
see that for sure. Like,
yeah, I pray.
Because as you mentioned before, we don't have a lot of yellows in here, but I gotta take a pause for a second here because in previous top lists, Gogeta was like top 5, and now he's nowhere to be seen. And I know, Glow, you just mentioned it's because of his teams, but is that really the case with this unit? Like, because people are saying, "Oh, Gogeta's trash." Is he really trash? Or are they capping right now?
My gripe,
He's not
trash. Again,
It's
I mentioned
teams.
before, it's situational. It's a problem. I mean, yeah, his comps don't want him, but it's also effective. They just undertune his gimmick compared to Vegeta, where, I mean, I could tell you off rip, like just before I even saw it in practice, that Vegeta was going to have the edge and aging better. There's no way around that shit. They have shown in this game being in service for 6 years and how they have not changed RisingRush virtually at all, that it's not going anywhere. So being able to essentially have a character that guarantees it goes off no matter what happens is stupid.
Yeah.
There's no way around that. It's never going to age. It's never going to be bad. It's like whatever. It's how it's got to be. Meanwhile, Gogeta is dependent on these counter gauge units being out while he can do his thing. And even then, when they aren't there, he's just a beat stick. That's about it. There's really nothing else to it. Like, there's no special flourishes, gimmicks, whatever that are, like, holding him in a high regard. And, like, my problem is just the fact of, like, it really convinces me they don't playtest shit when this is how things have shaped up, when we've gotten more counter units since he came out. And he's getting worse. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, but...
You got to remember the problem is that, like, while more counter units are coming out, his teams are getting worse. Like, movies is just beat sticks. His best comp, at least bench wise, is Fusions. The thing is, Fusions doesn't want him because Fusion wants some sort of rush protection.
Mm-hmm.
God Key is ass. Like, shit is a good support unit, but they have no third.
Yep.
And then you have to deal with what's it called? Like, it's just his teams just either don't want him or it's just their ass and they can't compete. Like, it's like, that's why I'm hoping that the Ultra, I don't want it to be yellow, but I want it to be something that fits his team. Like, I genuinely think, I don't think it's cooler. I don't think the Ultra is going to be cooler. I think the Ultra is either going to be SS2 Gohan from the Bojack movie.
Oh, God, no.
Or it's going to be a Super Saiyan Goku. Which Goku? It's either the cooler movie Goku or the Android 13 movie Goku that absorbs the Spirit Bomb.
Right movie, wrong character, man.
Alright, dog.
Nah.
You're scaring me, man.
110%.
You're scaring me.
They're 100% going to make that Goku purple, too.
That's the problem. If he should not be purple. What he should be is blue.
But
he should be blue.
I would prefer yellow, to be honest with you.
Do Sun Family need more tools right now, though? I feel like they got too much already with the fusions.
They do.
Some fan doesn't need it. Movies does. Make him blue. I need that. Make him blue. Give him endurance and all that. Like, give him buff removal. Give him support. Just don't give me another beat stick.
But that's what movies is. That's what they wouldn't give. Look at Brawly. Look at everybody else that's coming out. Except Garlic Jr. He's not a beat stick. So, there's that. But
the thing is, Garlic's not a beat stick. Goku, Piccolo aren't beat sticks, but the problem is they're blast-based.
Yeah. But I can't believe you forgot about the God Key's third, though. You know?
No,
We're
no,
not
we're
doing
not
this.
doing
We're
this.
not doing
We're
this.
not entertaining this nonsense.
All right, I'll leave it alone for now, but he should be in everybody's top 10 list. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
No,
But
Top 10 greens for sure.
definitely.
top one group, well, I don't know. Evil Boo. I'm looking at Evil Boo right now. But back to this Turles though, because looking at his overall equipment, he's giving 15% health. He's giving up to 80% strike and blast, and base strike. Double defenses as well. He's got sustained damage cut, which is excellent to see. He's got health. He's got everything: health restoration, damage inflicted, additional damage inflicted, and then his third slot looks like it's buffing up his green card even further, which is good. So for your movie made Glow, have you used this equipment yet?
Not yet, but I'll be honest with you. You don't need it. It's not worth it. Like the problem is, while the equipment makes him good, it does not make him good enough. And I'll be honest with you. There's one big thing I don't like about it, and it's that the fact that Turles doesn't have a cover change. Ignoring like the fact like okay, his Z abilities and whatever. It's the fact that he doesn't have a cover change. And you in this current day and age in the game, you need to be able to do something on cover change. If you cannot, you're DOA. And that's the biggest issue I've had with all these plaques. And the problem is the units that they gave us that did have cover changes like Ulton, or God Vegeta, they're shit units now. When they were giving out these shit plaques, and that's the problem. It's like, bro, like
I think
like
they
you
have their
can give
intentions. Like they don't want these units to be good. So then why even release their equips then at this point?
that's the problem. It's like you can't drop these plaques that are essentially just worth like nobody's gonna farm them. That's why they're trying to up it with Turles because they're realizing nobody's farming them, nobody's using them, nobody's touching them. There's no point to it. Like if you look through all the sparkings, you'll realize, dang, a lot of these sparkings don't have like Zenkai sparkings don't have cover changes
Yeah. And even some
because
of
they
the
pick.
older LFs too.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, they keep choosing all these old ones that like they don't have it, so what you get no value off of it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of resources that even go into this equip to even get it to the role that you want it to. So are you really gonna spend 3, 4, 500 erasers just to try out the equip to see if it's good enough to never use it again? I mean, it sounds like a lot. What about you, Obsto? Have you seen any kind of like showcases for this or ran into this unit being used in PvP? What would be your assessment of this overall equip? I know you mentioned that this
For
needs to be
Turles?
yeah.
Yeah, this is the gold standard for 1% plats. But like I said before, he's a 6-year-old unit. He's missing basic things that modern units, well, not even modern units have, like 5-year-old units have, like a basic cover change, like Glow mentioned. So yeah, is he going to be good if you want to use him? Yeah, go ahead, like go for it, man. But there's better options.
Yeah.
He's still going to be good.
I can see that. So then I guess the audience for this unit would be like you people who are just getting into the game and they're summoning on like whatever the regular ticket banners are that they give tickets and for free to try and do something in PvP. But then like if that's the case, they should make rolling this equipment a lot easier to get it maxed up. Because these newer free-to-play players, they're not going to want to spend 3, 4, 500 erasers just to get into a unit and get boxed out by Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta at 14 star. So I don't know what their premise is about this. Again, you guys have mentioned this is the gold standard, which I believe so as well. It's giving everything that a unit would need to even, be able to switch in as a battle member. But again, like if you don't have a lot of defensive options or any defensive option, such as like reducing key on cover change or, reducing cards or card draw speed, what have you, then it's DOA. So for anyone who believes in this equip, have at it. Go ahead and farm for it. But just temper your expectations when you actually try and run this in PvP. So let's move on to the actual Boujack here. This is our actual new unit or free-to-play unit in the game here. And again, it's another movies buff. So we'll start off with you, Glow. Have you farmed for this unit yet?
I have.
You sound depressed. What's going on?
He's ass.
Oh, I mean,
Like it is his only remarkable thing is he gets a lot of cardio speed. But that
yeah.
doesn't matter when you can't do damage.
And I think this unit has the lowest HP in the game. At 14 stars, he's only sitting at 2.2 million.
2.3 for me.
Wow.
But let me if he really is the lowest HP, I'll actually be pissed as hell. Let me see.
He might be the lowest because, like, usually the average or lower end is around like 2.4.
2.3. I have 2.3. Let me see. Nah, there's other units that are 14 stars or lower.
That are sparking?
Yeah.
Uh,
Wait, 2.3?
2.3 million. I'm looking at him at 2.2 something.
I see some guys with 2.2. I
Okay.
see some folks with 2.1. Yeah.
Wow.
So he's not the lowest, but he's on the lower end.
Mm-hmm. And his defensive stats are not that high either. So if he gets caught in a combo, that's GG.
Yeah, he's fine.
Mm.
I'm telling you right now, free to play units are they're done. Like they're only there to waste art.
Yeah.
That's really all they are. Like so many like they're really a waste of because you remember when they were starting to do that new style of free to play units for like that little side view?
Yeah.
They immediately abandoned that because they immediately remembered, wait a minute, we don't give a fuck about free to play units. Why are we giving it effort? And they immediately stopped doing it.
Yeah, I did notice that. What did that start like this year or like mid this year where they stopped doing that? What was the
I think
last?
they just said, "Oh, we're just gonna be doing this for a year."
Mm.
Bro, the last one they did was the Blue Bro.
Yeah, for the PO campaign when they
Yep.
released. That's when Super 17 dropped, right?
Yeah, and Baby.
No, like later.
Oh,
No, Super 17 was early. Yeah, this was like Baby, UGF, and then Bro.
okay, yeah. So that was like earlier this year then, and then it
Yeah.
stopped. That's
And
crazy.
the problem is like the baseline idea of what these units are supposed to do are actually pretty unique. And it's like, yo, if this was like an actual 1%, this would be a top 10 unit. But because it's a free to play, they dumb it down so much that it's ass.
Mm-hmm. And then his gimmick. What is his gimmick? Just having a bunch of draw card art speed, or because I see there's a little bit of support in his kit, but it's very
He has it.
minuscule.
Yeah, he has the support when the opponent switches. Um, it's 15% for 15 counts. It's cool, but it's like realistically, you need your opponent to switch twice on you for it to matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when it would hit like 30%.
Yeah. And for the amount of damage that this Bojack is even doing, would it even warrant people to even switch during his combos? Because, like, looking at how he ramps up compared to, like, the other part, 1%, it's not that much. What is he getting? 15% for 3 timer counts. So, about time he uses a card and sidestep, what is the maximum stack you're able to get is up to 2 at a time, unless you just pop your hand.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, bro, he's not.
And then also he's got the effect where there's additional buffs if he has battle members remaining. And then he also has the red beast effect where if an opponent is getting comboed, he gets cover null, right?
If an ally's getting comboed, yeah.
Yeah. And that's for about, what is that, 15 timer counts? Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty decent. But overall, what would you rate him, though? Is he usable, certified bench, or don't even bother?
Don't even bother.
Terrible. Well, for those who are looking for a free-to-play unit or they're trying to main movies and you're free-to-play, just save. Collect the materials if you want to, just by getting this unit up to date. And then there's probably going to be a raid or something that's going to lean towards having this unit at higher stars so you can get more of whatever the currency is in the exchange shop. So there may be a plus there. But outside of that, I mean, I don't see that it's worth it. Just based on his stats alone, they're just very, very low. But what about you, Opsa? Have you ran into this guy in PvP at all or not at all?
Oh, fuck no.
Seems that people understand not even to waste their time. You won't even see him at all. But for his overall kit and his assessment, do you agree with Glow that this guy is just terrible and don't even bother?
I don't think he's awful. Like, again, he's just getting a lot of card draw speed, so he's good for just biding time. So at this point, he's just Evo Ken, but better.
Whoa, a better Evo Ken? Wait, that's
Do you
outlandish.
do you understand how low that bar is?
That's terrible. He's not that horrible, is he?
I mean,
Crickets.
how do we tell him?
Damn, not like this, man. It's because he's a Gaki unit. That's probably why he's horrible. And then I'm also noticing he holds a strike and a blast. So for a melee unit, doesn't really help the deck out either for balancing out his hands. I don't know. Just seems like a lot of, why would you do that? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? Legends? I don't know. What about you, Desla? What do you think of this overall kit? Do you think, or first off, have you seen him in PvP? And then second, do you think his kit is even worth like leveling this unit up?
No. And he's ass.
Good answer. Good answer. So I think we've got our overall assessment. Nice free to play Boujack. He's not good. His stats are low. His kit he'll combo for a while, but that's about it. And there's plenty of other blue options that you can use for moving and powerful opponent, like Janemba. I mean, I still like Janemba. I think Janemba can still be used.
You are funny.
Janemba's done. He's DOA. He's too old.
Janemba's cooked.
Damn.
It's not even that he's bad. It's just his defenses, and the problem with Janemba is the same problem I have with Broly right now. Is that this, and it's with a bunch of units, and it's because of UG4. This is such a anti-combo meta that it's like, bro, like units that have their kits built around comboing is just so bad. It's bad.
Damn. And it's all because of UG4, huh?
Yep. Literally. And I was talking to someone on Twitter about this. I genuinely just want like a massive reset to just hit the top 10 right now.
You know, it's crazy because like this top 10 list has been evolving since the anniversary drop. Like there was a new 5 every other week.
To be fair, it's been this different 6 through 10, maybe 5. 1 through 4 has not changed.
I mean, yeah. I mean, once UG4 was released, that was it solidified it. I mean, Gogeta was on the list. Now, well, you know, the fusing Gogeta, but now he's not even on anyone's list anymore at the moment, which is wild to me. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see how the meta kind of evolves from there and see if PO will get a strike-based blue or if they'll get another yellow besides Baby to kind of flush that out, or if this is all the PO buffs. I mean, judging by just how slow the updates have been within Legends, post-anniversary or post-after-party, I feel like this is the perfect time to start releasing those PO units that's going to, you know, help out, you know, that segment of the community. Because, you know, when it's Heroes time, they're going to be pumping those out left and right, and that's just going to flood the meta just like it was in the Annie. So, but that's all the units that we have in the game. So pretty small update overall, but we have a special segment where we're just going to go over the top 5 best tag/teams in the game and just kind of go over what we believe is currently shaping the meta, because we know the top 5 list of, you know, units such as, you know, UG4, you have Alhan, you got the fusing Vegito, such. But what kind of teams are you able to make with those, and what would be some dangerous compositions that either is overtaking the meta or things that could potentially, you know, shift that people don't know about potentially? But Desla has made a list, and we're going to kind of pass the bucket over to him and then critique what he believes, and then kind of go around the room and see what we believe is the top 5 best tag/teams in the game. So I'm going to tee it off to you, Desla.
All right, so got my list. Let me see. So for 5th best, I have Sun Family, my main. There you go. 4, I have Powerful Opponent. 3, I have GT, my second main. 2, I have Majin Buu Saga, and then 1, I have Fusion Warriors.
So is number 5 just bias, or do you really believe that Sun Family is top 5?
If we're gonna consider like leaders that don't necessarily have to have the tag that I'm putting on the actual list, then yes, I do. So
then what would be the team comp? And we're only talking about regular PvP, not proud mode. What would be the front 3 and then the bench?
I'll pull up on my account real quick just so I don't mess anything up. or forget anything. Leader would be Kid Buu, the Zenkai, with the Go Piccolo tag unit that just dropped, and then Ultimate Gohan. Bench would be Superhero Pan with Great Statement 1 and 2, and then Second Coming Goten for the Zenkai bench for Ultimate Gohan.
Okay, sounds pretty decent. And you said Kid Buu would be leader slot on that.
Yeah.
So then you have two endurance units, and then you have the Piccolo Goku tag unit. Which, I mean, I haven't really ran into too many of those in PvP. Are they really the bee's knees right now? Because I'm seeing people like favor the Piccolo side more than the Goku side.
They're quite good. Goku's green card could be a little better, but it's not bad by any means. It's able to give you a card, and also, like, if you have a smidgen of a bit more than just obviously no vanish, it can fully just restore your gauge to where you'll be free to go for a vanish whenever you need to. But the big thing about that makes them so good, I mentioned, I think, in the last episode, is that they're very good at, once they get their hands on you, they're able to continually, like, generate green cards, and also it helps out that Ultimate Gohan, like, spawns greens as well pretty quick, so they're great partners as well. I mean, barring the sustain that he has as well, to be able to give a nice heal after his gauge has filled up from the time phase into the attacking phase. And no, in general, like, I mean, you have those two partners with them, they're able to feel a lot safer that way. And I mean, you don't really lose out too much on their equipment power per se. If you were to go pure Sun Flame, which your third at that point would just be Ultra Gohan, and he's not bad by any means at the current moment, but just we're still waiting for that Dream Yellow to really, like, propel him back to top tier conversations. But no, I think with the variant in mind, if we're not going to be strict on pure teams only, that I think that it works very well with him. So yeah.
Good deal, good deal. So we'll start off with you, Glow. Do you agree with his assessment on why Sun Family would be number 5, or what would be your, top 5 best tag in the game or best team in the game?
I'm not against. I'm not against them at 5. I get it. I see the vision.
Okay. And then what about you, Obsto? Would you agree as well? The Sun Family being top 5 best tag / team in the game.
I mean, what don't they have?
You're right. They got plenty of tools. And then with Desla running the Kid Buu at leader slot, I mean, it looks like it's kind of like a pseudo Majin Buu / Sun Family. So I mean, you're getting the best of both worlds there, with the endurance, which is the rush protection, and then just overall green card generation. So I can see how the play is working. But what about your number 4? So you got powerful opponent there. What's that team makeup looking like?
So best variant for that would be Ultra Broly with CMZ and Omega. And that team is very obnoxious to take down if someone's playing their cards right with it, because obviously we've discussed multiple times before that CMZ heals a shit ton of damage back when he gets hit. Ultra Broly is very disruptive in terms of the tank role. Omega does great damage, also has the unkillable second life. A lot of stuff going on with that to make it a very great bulk team, to where it's very common if it's started up to lead to a lot of matches leading to timer, obviously. So it's a matter of where there's that going for it, and also that, I mean, they have a shit ton of other top tier options to fall back on if you don't have that core 3 necessarily. So it's very flexible for team building, and I think for that reason alone that it deserves to be given a leg up over Sun Family.
I can definitely see that. And that tag also holds the Ultra Golden Frieza that has the counter, which is super, super strong still. Do you believe there is a team comp where that could solidify it being like top 4, top 5?
With Frieza, the issue being is that he needs Glaze to be good now at this point. And unfortunately, PO is just a team where you don't really want to divvy out too many Zenkai buffs for just one character. You do want to kind of have it spread apart pretty well. I mean, I think that it's pretty blatant at this point that Broly is just the best purple option for PO. It's not really a debate or a discussion. It's just how it is right now. So that's kind of where we're at. But if we do have any kind of shakeups happen in the future where it benefits Frieza more, then we'll have that discussion then. But until then, it's a Broly world.
Really just a Broly world. And people can somewhat, try to make a team with just Brolys. But I mean, I don't know what your third would be. I mean, there's the green one that came out from the anniversary, but he's okay. There's the blue one, Zenkai LF movie one. You could make a play off that, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. I mean, you're not doing top 5 or top 4 work on that. So I can see your point of that team composition. Now, Glow, do you agree with that team composition for Powerful Opponent, or you think there's a better team comp for that?
No, I agree with that team comp because technically, when you run, part of the reason why that team is better than the UGF variants of PO is because if you leader slot Broly with CMZ and Omega, it's essentially a fusions team. So you could run purple 21 bench,
Mm-hmm.
purple SV bench, and then yellow Broly bench. Now you have a triple HP bench
Wow.
with 3 units that have great sustain.
And that sounds like it would be hard to kill just with the ultimate glazing that's going on there with the HP. That's wild.
Yeah, do ran that team for one of his power videos for Broly, and it was hard to kill, and he's fighting like high star units too.
Mm-hmm. So do you think like a mono purple powerful opponent glaze variant would work too on being top 5, or because there's not really a lot of threatening yellows, so could people get away with that running that in like top 1K PvP?
I mean, I'm running purple red right now. Broly, UGF, and CMZ with two buffs to Broly and CMZ, Broly and UGF.
I can see that. So then if people don't have the ultra purple Broly, would Garlic Jr. be their next best option?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
You sacrifice the offense and the ability to easily pivot for the best tank in the game.
Yeah. And then judging based on how glazed that setup is going to be, like Garlic Jr. is not dying anytime soon. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. I can definitely see a play off that. I would like to see, the red Brawly being added into the comp because I feel like post transformation, the ability to just stop people from switching up to 2 times and just killing them seems very, very strong. But again, like, does his teams really want him or no? And from what it sounds like, they don't. They don't really want him right now. But what about you? Oh, go ahead, Glow.
No, I was gonna say garlic is kind of in a weird spot where it's like it like whether garlic replaces Broly or competes for Broly's spot depends really on what this next buff is.
Hmm. And then let's say if you don't have Garlic Jr., would Rage be another option as well for that play or no?
I guess, but it's like you're not really gonna fuck with Rage.
So then, Opso, do you agree with that assessment with Powerful Opponent being number 4 in their team comps, or do you believe that there's better team comps out there for, top 5?
Yeah, they're number 4. I can agree with that.
I can definitely see PO going both ways. I can see Glaze comps because they have some pretty decent Zenkai buffers, for sure. I wish they had a blue so the Brew Brawly Zenkai bench can be used, but we'll have to see what they decide to release within the next couple of weeks, if they even decide to drop a blue for Powerful Opponent or whatever the case may be. And then Desley, you have GT. So I'm already assuming this is pretty self-explanatory of what the team comp can look, but I mean, there's a couple of variants, right?
Yeah, I mean, my preference though, like for what I run, is definitely just Omega with G4 and then Baby. And the reason why is just because of the fact that I personally prefer opting for Baby over Rage, because Rage is a little more like RNG dependent on how he performs. If you can get paralysis off a shit ton, then yeah, he's a fucking problem. There's no way around that. Like, he's obnoxious to deal with in that regard. But if RNG really ain't on your side as much, then he's not quite as obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Baby, more often than not, you are queuing against Saiyans, like, at least for me in terms of my queue, like, I mean, 7 out of 10 matches. So he has plenty of opportunities to look very impressive there in terms of his damage. And also, I mean, he's very versatile in terms of how his gauge disrupts. Obviously, has a fantastic green card in most situations where I've gotten off several times in the last couple of like months that it came out, and it's never gotten old. But and just his sniping potential is fantastic with his ultimate and gauge combo, and then also it helps out that he has like the best blue in the game, like post gauge being filled up. Like, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, very solid unit still, and has really not aged a day, to be honest with you, since it came out in goddamn March. So fantastic design there. On the end for the devs there, I'll give them their props for that. But Omega is just, again, like, he's gonna be a unit that a lot of people will understand with time how good he is if they actually don't repeat the same mistake with these last GT premium villains they've dropped, where they actually put them on a banner soon, like preferably for Fest. That'd be great. Definitely some optimism there, but you never know.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do that, more people will understand how good this unit is, and that I'm telling you, if we start really getting some like just powerhouse yellows that like are not situational, like Baby or like Gogeta, or do not need to worry about team comps like gelling with them well enough or not. Just they're good and they're wanted. That's the big two things for these new yellows that could possibly come out right now in the future. If we get more units like that and they put the pressure on G4 and especially Ultimate Gohan, I'm telling you, Omega will only get better. So that's all we're waiting on right now for seeing if those stocks will rise sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he is a core member on a lot of tags, not just GT. So it's a testament to the fact of we're in a very purple dominant time of the game right now, and he's still in the top 5 discussion.
Yeah.
That's just give you an idea of how good he is right now. But and I mean, I don't need to go over G4 and why he's stupid, but whatever. But yeah, no, that 3 is just very good. I was considering opting to swap it with Majin Buu Saga, but I decided to go against it purely for the fact that while Baby is definitely a better like third in comparison to Elobu right now, Majin Buu Saga feels a bit more cohesive in the fact that there's a lot more sustain, bulk, disruption, like just obnoxious shit going on with that team to make it like the cockroach tag to take down right now.
Oh yeah, I definitely
So
see that, and I can also second like with because you make some really good points about Omega's usage could potentially go up. I mean, I'm starting to see a lot more like blast regen and blast PO units that are starting to come out the woodwork as well. So there can definitely be a play off that too. But overall, I mean, I definitely agree with that assessment. I feel like any team that has UG4 on it is probably going to make the top 3 like best tags, best teams. We'll have to see. Glow, do you agree with that assessment with GT being a number 3, or do you feel like they should be higher or lower?
I agree. The GT is there's a few variations of GT you can run. Mostly there's Baby Omega and you can run Baby Omega and G4, or you can run a blast version of like Super 17,
Mm-hmm.
Omega, and then Rage. It does well. GT does well. The only problem right now GT has is they don't have a blue, and USB is not up to standard. He needs a plat.
Dang, already? Like, is he even a year old yet?
no, but he's bad.
Wow.
But he's not good enough. He's not. And it's not like his offenses are the issue. It's his defenses. And he can't stop a combo.
Yeah. They need more disruption. And I feel like teams pretty much from 3 and above, the disruption is just uncanny with how much that they do with power down, etc., removing buff on Rising Rush, etc. So like it's definitely very strong for sure. And this, this Goku, the GT Goku, the blue one is just not it right now. It's very unfortunate. Do you agree as well, Obsto, with that assessment for GT being a number 3?
Yeah.
Good deal. And then 2 and 1, I feel like they could be meshed with the same teams. Like the only thing that would really change. Well, I'll let Desla explain. So, what's the team comp for Majin Buu Saga for number 2?
For Majin Buu Saga, you would opt to go with an Olhan leader and then Kid Buu and Eel Buu, the 1% we got for the anniversary. And again, it's a testament to just how stupid that bear unit is that we're in a very dominantly purple environment right now, and he is still just as annoying as he was when he came out. And his annoyance factor is only amplified further by his synergy with Ultimate Gohan and Kid Buu. The problem with these 3 together is that you're worrying about not death buffs, but just debuffs up the wazoo. I mean, you got, Kid Buu constantly stacking up minus card draw speed every time you land an arch card on him if you're not immune to that shit. You have also the fact that Ultimate Gohan has absurd amounts of sustain by the fact that he gains health back with big moves and shit. He's also powering down with every kind of, proccing of moves that happens with that. He's also nullifying buff effects so that you cannot easily nullify his endurance. So there's also that going on, and also Evil Boo is just doing a shit ton of debuffs when he comes in for cover, and also when you drop below 50%, he's just outright killing a combo. There's no way around that shit. And then, I mean, his ult is also just like crippling in terms of that landing on somebody. And the literal only problem I have with that team, it's more so just like Kid Buu, like specifically, is just that like he has no cut pin in his kit, so it leads to his ult being kind of But I mean, barring that one problem, it's a very hard team to take down at high stars, and more often than not, it will most certainly lead to a situation where you're not really relying so much on timer. You're worrying about if you can get like. It's not a situation where with PO there's gonna be in the back of your mind you're kind of like thinking that, oh, I mean, this team's tanking as shit, but it's not doing an absurd amount of damage more often than not. It's more so focused on bulk. Whereas Majin Buu Saga is focused on disrupting you and allowing your opportunities of priority to like be way smaller compared to theirs, because you're crippling the enemy team with what you're inflicting on them. So it leads to where, yes, you can get priority, but more often than not, your instances of actually being able to do damage and like really take the match in your favor are smaller than what they have like access to when they start getting priority on you. So it's a situation of where it's a death by 1,000 paper cuts almost, where you're trying your best to kind of going ahead and put in work. But if someone who knows what they're doing is playing with that team, it is very hard to take down. So for that reason, I had to give it the edge over GT, just because I feel like it goes an extra mile of being like just that more annoying with the disrupt options they have access to. So that's all.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, for example, GT has a couple of units that make it annoying, like Omega and Rage. But like Majin Buu Saga, everybody can really debuff you and be annoying. So I could definitely see a play off that. So what do you think? Do you think Majin Buu Saga is just as annoying and just as tanky as what Desla has explained here?
Absolutely. They're by far my least favorite team to fight right now. Like, by far. I hate it.
That's a testament there, man. I'm telling you. And then, Glow, what about you? Do you also believe that that's number 2, or do you believe that they could be potentially number 1 for most strongest tag?
I think it's number 2. Definitely. You could argue Majin Buu Saga / and I know we didn't mention this, but regen, because if you don't want to run Evil Buu and you want to more like offense, you could opt to run Omega instead and leader slot Ulton. So you could also do that too. It is an option.
Yeah. So then Regen can potentially make it to the list as top 5 most annoying teams or top teams in a game as well. Like it seems that they're very close, right?
That's the thing. It's like it's only that variation of Regen I think can have an argument for top 5. But then at the same time, it's like, is it Regen or is it Majin Buu Saga?
And Majin Buu Saga also has access to the fusing Vegito as well, which he has the I win button. So
yeah,
there's that too, which has to be taken into consideration.
And it's a good mode for Proud. It's a good team for Proud mode too.
It's one of the best ones easily.
Yeah. Everyone's annoying on that squad, and everybody's a threat. So I can see that. And then you're number 1. I mean, I feel like this is self-explanatory. If people haven't ran into this team already, then I don't know if they're playing the right PvP queue. But it looks like you got fusions. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much that really needs to be gone over. You have G4, who really doesn't need an explanation for why he's as good as he is. Super Vegito, I've gone over numerous times as to why he's stupid. And Omega, I've gone over with other teams that he's been featured on in this list that I made. Again, it's a very strong team in the sense that there's just so many power players on this comp to where if they are able to gain priority, they are the definition of the one-shot meta win that we're currently in right now, to where it's more often than not going to be a situation of where if the match has gone on long enough, and I guess the best way I could put it is that Fusions fits the box more of being a team that if you give them an inch, they take a goddamn 5K marathon. Like, I'm telling you, the G4 Ultimate, unless your name is Garlic Jr. or a select other few characters, you're going to die to it. That's just how it is, and there's no way around it. Super Vegito, again, you can't do shit about his rush. There's nothing you can do about it. It's going to hit you, and it's going to go through. That's just how it is. And then Omega is just that extra third there for fantastic safety, fantastic disrupt as well. Being able to have the faint chance. I mean, dear God, what aren't they doing? Right? It's a matter of where like they're just such a safe yet lethal comp to where I can't not put them at 1.
Yeah. But I noticed like you didn't mention the fusing Gogeta. Why is that?
Yeah, I wonder why. It's compared to those 3 options, like Gogeta is doing nothing that overrides the importance of the roles those 3 provide. He just isn't.
Yeah. Like UG4 is a better killer than him. The fusing Vegito is a better killer than him. Like the only play I can see where the Gogeta would start to creep back up is if we get more of like counter unique gauges where he can bypass that. Then at that point I can see it's more mandatory to kind of run it. But right now it's just the GT Gogeta. And again, he's ran on all the matches, but still, like, is he doing enough damage? Like, what would be the best build to run Gogeta if people decide to run the fusing Gogeta? Is it a Glaze comp, or is it just not run at all, or what?
It's, again, not an issue of him eating Glaze, per se. It's just a matter of where, again, like, the teams that he wants to be ran on are either just too dog shit or they're too strong to where there's no wiggle room for him to fit in. That's
Exactly.
the issue.
Yeah. And the dog shit part, you were mentioning Gaki, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, they're bad.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. But, I mean, they got Shin. Shin's good. But Shin, I guess he'd be
Shin's
better on Majin Buu Saga, which is his better team. And then, yeah, I guess I can see a play on how all that makes sense. So there's definitely no debate on that. Glow, do you agree with Fusions being the number 1 best team in the game?
Obviously.
And then you as well, Opsto?
I'd say Majin Buu Saga is better, but yeah, that's all I got.
Gotcha. And, you know, as my top, like, I have Fusions at number 1. I have GT, then Majin Buu Saga, PO, and then Regen, because I feel like Regen is going to slowly start to creep up at some point. But, I mean, it all pretty much straight's of what we typically see and other, like, God rank players see. When it comes to PvP, you're going to see a lot of Gogetas, you're going to see a lot of Fusing Vegetos, you're going to see a lot of Gohans or Old Hans. So this kind of sums it up. So thanks again, Deza, for putting that list together. And, you know, if anyone has any questions on team comps and builds and equips, you can definitely reach out to Glow. He's got a starter guide for Legends that he has a thread on. So if you ever want to find some good, useful information on how to get better about the game or just tips and tricks, definitely check that out on his Twitter account. So now on for Dragon Ball related news. We are slowly approaching the Sparking release. We've also got a new Daima trailer as well, and the release date for that. So super excited for the month of October. That's going to be the month of anime. Bunch of good animes that are coming out. Dragon Ball is going to be dropping a bunch of stuff. So, you know, definitely excited for that. And if you haven't checked out the trailer already, you know, definitely go on the official Dragon Ball website. It should be posted there, and our social media accounts. You'll be able to check out that. That showed Kid Goku turning Super Saiyan, so that was pretty cool. And also a couple other clips of like Vegeta and Piccolo doing some stuff. So animations look super clean. Super excited for that. But that is it for this week's episode of the Rising Rush podcast. Definitely tune in and check us out on Twitch as well. Glow is actually just streaming today, so turn those notifications on if you haven't already so you can join in once he goes live and definitely say hi. Follow our social media accounts on Twitter as well. Myself, Obsto, Desla, and Glow. So, you know, check out our hot takes and other clips and when the episodes will be released. And then as a fun fact, we'll be having our special guest for the month of September next week. So definitely check out for that. It's going to be super exciting. So, you know, definitely turn those notifications on YouTube and Spotify for when that episode is released. But outside of that, I hope you all have a great rest of your week.
See y'all. Y'all be easy.
See ya.
See ya.